Welcome back to Arise 360. Now, our first guest was a teacher who is now well on her way to becoming a titan in the entertainment and film industry.
Here with more on her career and the new film Sinners Wanted, which she executive produced, is Tressa Smallwood.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Now, we have to talk about Sinners Wanted. It's such a provocative title.
Yeah.
Okay, so please tell us a little bit more about these sinners and why they are wanted.
Yeah, so Sinners Wanted is a film about a pastor who marries a prostitute.
Wow.
Yes, it gets deeper, right? And so ultimately the film is designed to attract people to the faith-based community and to let them know that everybody is a sinner. Whether you tell a lie or whether you kill somebody, sins are all the same.
Yes, the Lord knows.
So, you know, in the movie, even though it's a faith-based film, it's a film that everybody is going to want to see. It's not anything where, you know, it's just going to be the church audience. And so we're excited about it. You know, we're having a premiere tonight.
True? If you would tell a lie versus if you kill someone, is the sin the same?
If you think about what it says in the Bible, a sin is a sin. But in society, of course, we like to judge other people. So, you know, we may have just, you know, done something that's considered a sin, but then we'll go and turn our nose up at somebody else.
Yeah,
Like, oh.
very true. So it's sort of a societal look. You're holding a magnifying glass up against
Absolutely.
society.
And we're just judgmental by nature. You know, I can be honest and just say, you know, plenty of times somebody will walk in the room and instantly, you know, you've already formed an opinion.
Yeah, and sometimes that happens in the church. They be like, hey,
Yeah.
sister so-and-so,
Yeah.
don't let her close to your man, child.
And you don't even want her to sit down. You don't even want to move your purse to give them a seat.
Right.
Guys, what church do you go to?
Not my church. I just see it in the movies. Not my church.
Now, speaking of movies, let's focus on yours because your film stars beloved actors Clifton Powell and Lamar Rucker.
Oh my goodness, they were amazing.
I can imagine.
Right.
Were they handpicked for this role, or did you just happen to have your luck of the draw?
So we knew that Clifton would play like a comedic role, and that was that's sort of different for him, but we knew that he would nail it. And so when people see this movie, they are like, Clifton, like you really did your thing.
Right.
And Lamar was, you know, excellent as well. But we were just really excited to get them because a lot of times when you produce independent films, it's hard to get talent attached to you. Like I'm only on my third film. So for me to be able to get...
That's amazing.
Hello. Third film in 3 years, by the way.
Well, when I say only, meaning, you know, I'm still considered a newbie. So, you know, if you're, you know, a talent and you hear about me doing a film, your first thing you're doing is, who is Tressa Azarel? Where did she come from? What other films has she done? And so now, at least I have 3 films that are out. People can see the quality, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll be in her film.
And you've got heavy hitters starring in them as well.
I'm excited.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you should be excited. But what is the church excited about this? 'Cause you know, a lot of times the church don't like looking in the mirror.
So you know
Are
what?
they going to feel convicted?
I think, interestingly enough, pastors will gravitate to this film. That's why we're starting to do the screenings and inviting a lot of pastors because they can utilize this piece to, you know, let their congregation know and people who want to get involved in the church, like, hey, look at this piece and see yourself in that. Because by the time you get to the end of the movie, you've cried, you laughed, and you're like, I saw myself 10 times in that movie.
Wow.
And that's important. That's what you want good art to do.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Now, the movie Sinners Wanted talks about forgiveness.
Yes.
Why was it so important for you to bring that message to the forefront?
So our writer and director, Jimmy Jenkins, Josh Jenkins, they felt like the forgiveness piece was something that we were missing in the church community. A lot of people have been church hurt.
Yeah.
And so when they brought the project to me and said, hey, these are the topics in the film, instantly I gravitated to all of it and was like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. It was not a film that I had slated to do. I was going to work on another project. But when it came before me, I was like, I need to do this now. Good decision.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you'll do the next one next year because you keep it going. 3 films in 3 years. What's the secret to that success and how do you turn things around so quickly?
Yeah, so for me, I already have the content. I'm a book publisher and I've published 162 books under my publishing house and I've consulted over 2,000 authors. So the content is already there. So every time that there's a project that needs to be filmed, I'm obviously a good go-to.
Now, speaking of reasons why you're a good girl too, location.
Yeah.
All of your movies have been shot in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely.
What is the importance attached to that?
So in the D.C. area, our film office noticed that everyone flocks to Atlanta, L.A. And so they were like, how do we keep our filmmakers here? How do we get more filmmakers coming to the D.C. area? And of course, money's the key, right? So they offer rebates, cash rebates to young filmmakers, and it's specifically African-American women.
Oh, wow.
So I've been able to get grants for all of my movies. So I'm staying.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Okay, can we just repeat that for the people in the back?
Come to DC.
Go to Washington, D.C. if you're an African-American filmmaker, female filmmaker.
And you don't have to be a female, but, you know, they are pushing that just because we don't obviously have enough African-American women in film.
Particularly in the year that Dee Rees and all these amazing people have been nominated.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
So I'm just excited about it all, grateful.
Well, it seems like it is a perfect time for that because so many people of color are being celebrated in the industry. Why do you think that's happening? And is it just a thing that's here temporarily, or is it a new trend that's going to continue?
I definitely think it's something that's going to continue. I think just the doors needed to be open. We needed to shed light on the amazing talent that comes, you know, for African Americans and females in particular. And for now, it's like, because the spotlight has, you know, like, okay, we have all these people, we have this. Now, for me, the door is open. All I have to do is step in and take the opportunity. So I'm grateful for everyone who has, you know, come before me, who has just done what they needed to do to help us all.
And you're definitely taking the opportunity because your films have predominantly black casts and crew members.
Absolutely.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Why did you choose to do it that way?
So I think for me, when I first started in the film world, I kept saying, well, you know, who looks like me? Who has, you know, just think I have a undergrad degree in marketing and a master's in education, so none of that had to do with film. So when I would show up at a film festival, they're looking at me like, who is this little girl? What are you doing? How are you going to make a movie? And so when I made my first movie, Secrets, it aired on BET and it made people a believer.
Yeah.
And so then they said, okay, you know, let's open up our eyes. So by then I was able to get more experienced talent, and then I said, let me go back and get all of those people who other people didn't believe in, the same way they didn't believe in me. And so we just pull everybody up, and we go together.
And you mentioned being a publisher, but you were also a teacher. How did you transition from being a teacher?
With a master's in education, no less.
There you go. But how did that that's not, you know, film industry, so how did you make that transition?
So, you know what, that's how I know this is my destiny, because I was on bed rest. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was only 3 months pregnant. And the doctor said you need to stay on bed rest for 6 months. And of course, that was like a death sentence. But I did it, and I said, what am I going to do for 6 months? I wrote a book. Not because it was a lifelong dream, just because I had the talent to do so.
Okay, no, pause. Can we talk about how amazing that is? Are you kidding me? You were on bed rest because you were ill.
Yes.
And you just decided to write a book.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not going to sit here and watch TV for the next 6 months. We're not going to do that.
Right.
So I wrote the book.
Finding your purpose.
Yeah. And by the time I published the book and realized that, okay, this is real, this is a new industry for me. I sold 5,000 copies in the first 2 months and made 40 grand. So I never went back to work.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Y'all gonna need a substitute teacher. You know that, right?
Wow.
Never went back to work.
Man,
Wow.
I'm blown away.
Right. But I mean, even then, you must have made some mistakes along the way. What would you say was one of the biggest mistakes that you made?
Listening to other people who did not have the credentials. We tend to allow people around us to keep talking. No, don't do that. And, oh, you should do it this way. And, oh, you don't need a mentor. You can do it yourself. And, oh, you.
Wow.
So, you know, you waste money because you're listening to people who just, you know, they're not qualified to tell you this, but we listen anyway.
And they're not going to give you the money back?
No.
Now, you're in a very unique position because you not only create your content, but you produce it yourself, and you don't need to wait for any sort of studio to greenlight it for you. How can other aspiring filmmakers get to where you are today?
Yeah, so if you own your own content, which means that you either have to write it or you have to do a work for hire and have someone else write it. You obviously pay them, get the agreements, and so now you own the content. So that already puts you a step above everyone else. And then if you have the funds to produce the movies yourself, now you're building a catalog. So the same way that I have a book catalog of 162 titles, now I want to convert those to film to have a film catalog of 162 titles, but keeping them in-house where you just simply license the product and you don't sell it. So when you see my films on Netflix or BET or TV One or wherever, you know, just know that it's a license. But all the content still belongs to me.
Amazing.
Wow. It is one busy woman, because I know.
This is like the school of universe, soaking up the knowledge.
Right? Well, I know you're probably already working on your next 3 movies. Like, you stay busy. Like, so what is next for you?
Yeah, so we are working on a new movie that we're going to be filming over the summer, but we're also doing Sinners Wanted as a theatrical release. Ooh. So that's a whole nother ball game.
And Clifton has a background on stage, so
yes. So he's going to travel with us this summer, promoting the movie. And so even though I'm able to produce a film, I've never initiated a theatrical release before. So now I have to learn that process.
Are you trying to become the female Tyler Perry?
I was about to say, I mean, all you need is about 2 weeks. You'll crack it.
Somebody is going to get me a meeting with Tyler so that I can get some nuggets.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, I like
okay, get your phone.
Right,
yes.
right.
Tyler,
work that out.
Tyler.
Work that out.
Yeah, during the break, I'll do it.
Yes, you know, you have to speak things into existence.
Absolutely.
So I have a list of people that I'm going to meet, and I'm going to make this work.
Oh, I
have
like
no
it.
doubt
You've
that
spoken
that
it
will
into
happen.
existence.
No doubt.
So what I want to know from you now is impact. Because clearly your work is incredibly impactful, from the books that you've written on bed rest. Can we just make sure that we get that clear? To the movies that you produce 1 a year. I mean, original content. You're already creating ginormous waves of impact in the community. What is the global hope?
I think for me, connecting with youth globally is a big key for me. Obviously, I left the school system, but I still go into the system a lot, and I speak to the youth. And I'm always just concerned about entrepreneurship, because generally in school we're trained, you know, you study, you go to college, you get your job, and you work for somebody else the rest of your life. And so for me, I like to talk to the students early on about just entrepreneurship, and not just entrepreneurship in the U.S. Like even for my daughter, she studies international business. And so this summer, she's going to Indonesia. So for me, I'm like, let's start doing that. I don't want to just be known as the woman who inspires the youth in the U.S.
Amazing.
That's great. Well, please tell us where we can catch Sinners Wanted.
Yes. So one, if you go to my social media sites, you can look at all the trailers because it's not out yet. So that's at CEO Azarel. That's Azarel. But Sinners Wanted official releases will be this summer, and so we'll be able to tell information about that. Tonight in New York, we're having this premiere.
All right.
So, you know, the people will get to see it tonight, but then after that, it's going to be this summer.
Okay, well, I'm sure you will continue to rise.
Thank you.
And be that titan that you are destined to be.
Right, Tylena Perry.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Such a joy.
And Arise 360 will be right back. That was great. Now, you